to appreciate how perfect this venue is and how wonderful the weather turned out to be. Jamie, I've known you your entire life, and I've never seen you more beautiful than you are today. Mike, you look nice too, but you also look a lot like my dad. As some of you may know, October 3rd is a special day. Not only is it the day that Aaron Samuels spoke to Katie Heron, but it's also a wedding day for Jamie's parents, Dave and Debbie, and Mike's grandparents, Beverly and Clayton. For those unfamiliar with who I am, I'm Brian Kretz, Jamie's older brother, fiercest protector, harshest critic, and proudest supporter. And after less than 5 minutes on the internet, I stand before you credentialed and certified American. Seriously, California will let literally anyone do this. But it is my honor and privilege to share the story of Jamie and Mike and formally unite these two amazing individuals. The start date for Jamie and Mike's relationship has long been disputed. In fact, when I asked Mike about their first date, he gave me 4 different answers. Don't worry, Jamie had one definitive answer. While Jamie and Mike's start date might be open to debate, a little known fact is that Brian and Mike's start date actually began several months earlier. I was visiting Jamie for her 27th birthday, and after several hours of day drinking, she was in bed early. I told her I was headed back out with one of her friends, and in true Jamie fashion, she said, "Don't be an idiot, and don't wake me up when you get back." So I meet up with this friend who brought along another guy who wasn't at the birthday celebrations, and this guy seemed like a decent dude and was friendly. And I kept thinking to myself, that reminds me of someone. We had a few drinks, and then a few more, and then honestly, the night got a little hazy, and we don't really need to go into those details. But several months later, I get a call from Jamie, and she goes, "You remember that guy you met when you were out on my birthday?" And I go, "Yeah, kinda, why?" And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, like, what did he do? Did he kill someone? Where's this going? And then Jamie asks, "What would you say if I dated him?" And I go, "Huh? The guy who," and before I can get out another word, Jamie cuts me off and says, "Yes, I think I like him." At that moment, I was stunned. Jamie and I are close. We're 13 and a half months apart in age, and we've seen each other's lives play out in front of us. I watched her date, but I had never heard her say, at least to me, that she liked someone, especially so early on. I told Jamie that I remembered him being a nice guy and that he reminded me of someone, and Jamie decidedly responded, "Okay," and that was the end of our conversation. Early on, Jamie and Mike clearly enjoyed each other's company, but there were perhaps questions over intentions and availability. Jamie, being a Kretz, played it safe with her feelings. But when Mike, after a few drinks, told her that he was into her, she had a moment. Not only were Mike's levelness and directness traits that she admired and wanted more of in her own life, she realized she liked Mike too. Mike and Jamie continued to spend time together, and it was obvious that something was there, but there were still a few unanswered questions and possible deal breakers looming. I mean, let's be real, we all have our deal breakers. For some, it can be something like religion or political views. For others, it can be jealousy or even bad hair. For Jamie, well, it's different. In her family, sports are a big deal. And Jamie is athletic and a fiery competitor. So if her significant other can't shoot a jumper or throw a ball, it's just not going to work out. So when Jamie and Mike were at the beach with a few friends and someone pulled out a football, you can imagine the nerves. This was it. Mike's friend Carrie flipped the ball to Mike and went out on a post route. Jamie watched closely with clenched hands, fearing the worst. This guy can't throw, she can't introduce him to her family. She can't be at the beach with him. Mike waited patiently as Carrie broke on his route and uncorked a tight spiral right onto Mike, unknowingly preserving his relationship with Jamie. Feeling comfortable with Mike's athletic prowess, Jamie and Mike's relationship continued to blossom and transitioned from the infatuation and posting all over Instagram phase to Mike embracing Jamie's Cat Spencer phase, followed by Mike meeting the Kretz family and joining Dave Kretz's hoops phase, and then finally the never-ending questions of when will Mike propose phase. And throughout each of these stages in the relationship, Jamie and Mike's love grew and their bond strengthened. In Jamie, Mike saw a fearless woman with confidence and unparalleled determination. You can't tell her no. And with Mike, Jamie found someone who was level-headed, supportive but willing to challenge her, and her best friend. During their trip last year to Europe, I think everyone here was waiting for or expecting a proposal. And then, one evening after a wine-filled dinner, they embarked on a walk back to their Airbnb, and Mike summoned the courage to ask the most important question of his life. when he approached an Asian tourist and asked to take their phone. And as Jamie looked over at the tourist to make sure he wasn't stealing the phone, Mike got down on one knee and asked Jamie to marry him. This moment was captured beautifully by a single blurry photo that the tourist took before handing the phone back and running away. Fortunately, several minutes later, a group of New Yorkers wandered by and helped them celebrate appropriately. The journey of Mike and Jamie's relationship may not have a defined beginning, but in a sense that's appropriate because it's also without end. An innocent night at trivia, yelling about pure storage, Steelers versus Ravens games, questionable calendars, country concerts, trips to the vet, buying a house, and so much more. There have been countless demonstrations of their love, commitment, and sacrifice for each other. Jamie, I've known you your entire life. I've watched you grow up from a bowl-cut little girl on the baseball diamond to the bratty teenager who backed into my truck and blamed it on my putt job, to a dedicated and resilient athlete who conquered the Boston Marathon in miserable conditions and inspired me to begin running as well, to the career-driven and deeply loyal woman you are today, about to begin a family with the love of your life. There's nothing you aren't capable of. You're truly a special person, and I couldn't be more proud to be your brother. Mike, what can I say? If I had the ability to pick anyone in the world to marry Jamie, I'd probably pick Patrick Mahomes. I mean, did you see in the $5 million contract? Seriously, I can't imagine a better life partner for Jamie. The highest praise I can give someone is my unconditional trust, and I genuinely trust you unconditionally. I know without question that you will always be there for Jamie, to comfort her, bring her joy, protect her, to help when her and I have one of our fights, and of course to love her. Seeing how happy you make her honestly makes me happy, and I'm so excited for your future together. Jamie, Mike, it's an honor to stand here with you on your wedding day. I'm so happy for the two of you. But I think everyone here is just about ready for me to get done talking. So let's get to the good parts. You've each prepared your own vows, and at this time, I'd ask you to share them.
Michael, I can't stand here in front of all of our family and close friends and look you in the eyes and tell you, I can't believe we're here today. Because after only a few dates and a few weeks of knowing you, I believed and I knew we would absolutely be standing here today. I didn't anticipate it would be during a pandemic, but I knew from the start that you were the one. When I first met you at Billy's, I felt an immediate connection and was instantly drawn to you. But after Uncle Mike paid for our tab and you and Braden headed out to go play softball, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. But I thought about you that entire night. A few weeks later, when our paths just so happened to cross in Laguna Beach, I knew it was fate. And you know me, I'm not one to believe in fairy tales or any of that happy ever after crap. But I've never doubted for 1 second you were absolutely my Prince Charming. You were the most patient, understanding, kind-hearted, hardworking, and loving man I've ever met. I don't just look at you as a partner and a friend. You are my mentor, my confidant, my therapist, my support, and my why. You're the only man I've ever known that can be so generous and nurturing, but still challenge me at the same time, and also put me in my place when I need to be. I love that you put your heart and soul into everything that you do, even if that means taking 3 months to pick out the perfect candle for our living room. Gotta triple check those Yelp reviews. But what I love the most about you is the way that you love me. You make me feel safe, empowered, confident, beautiful, respected, cherished, and valued. You make me want to be the best version of myself, and I wake up every morning so grateful for you and your love. So today, I vow and I promise to you that I will try every single day to make you feel as loved and wanted as you do me. I promise to be there by your side,